Hi, my name's Ron Saul. I will be doing this tutorial on Google Drive and Google Docs. To start, we are just going to sign into our account. If you log into Google and we go to google.com, this is what we're going to get. Sometimes there's not a sign in option up in this upper right hand corner. If there isn't, you can always just hit A and hit enter, and that sign in will pop up. It might be there, it might not. And when we sign in, we are going to sign in with our RBCSD account. So it's just going to be your username at rbcsd.com. And your password might be different than your login to get into the computer. If you have any questions, you would probably have to email Marissa Talon in order to get your password. Again, it's whatever you would need to log in for the middle school and the high school to get access to the daily bulletin. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go to this is called a waffle, the upper right-hand corner. And these are the items that we have access to at Riverside through our Google account. Gmail, Google Drive would be the same as your H Drive. Docs is the same as Word. Sheets is the same as Excel. And Slides is the same as PowerPoint. One of the things, some of the reasons why we use this or why Google is something nice to use. Number one, it's free. We pay for it through the school and we have unlimited storage. But a lot of the students, especially in the high school, use this because as long as you have a Google account, you have access to all of these different types of items. Where if you were using something like Office 365, you would have to pay for it. Another huge option or a huge benefit is it is cloud-based, which means we're able to access this anywhere that you're able to get the internet. So we don't have to save something on the H Drive and then try to get it to email it to yourself. You have access to this pretty much wherever it is that you have access to the internet. And another huge thing, and especially for me when I'm teaching, is you can actually share documents with other teachers and other students and have multiple people working on the same document at the same time. So if I come up here, I'm just going to, you can either use that item in the upper right-hand corner, or you can just Google Drive, Google Docs. And I am going to go to my Google Drive account. And this is kind of what your Google Drive account will look like. It will show you everything that you have access to and people have worked on in the last couple days. There's My Drive, which is everything that you have. There's also a shared with me folder for things that other people have created and shared with me. This could have been Melanie. We worked on an in-service day item during the training, and Melanie was the last person or created something and shared the document with me. I actually have my students create a PowerPoint presentation or a slides presentation and share it with me. So I only have to log into one area to show presentation. I also have this bowl assignment I did for my sports marketing class where I had groups of 4 and students would create the document and share it back with me, and they could have 4 people working on the same document at the same time. In My Drive, this has everything, the sheet or the Google Sheets, which is Excel, the Slides, which is the PowerPoint, as well as the Google Docs that I have created. If you're doing this, a couple things to think of. Number one, we can upload a file. So I actually uploaded, if you look here, my MBA folder and my personal finance folder that I actually have all the stuff saved on my H Drive for my classes. This allows me to kind of work. I'm trying to create a Google Classroom. These kind of go hand in hand. So instead of doing these individual document by document, you can just click and drag entire folders into that. And another thing, just a good thing to know that I would use when I'm working on stuff like this, you can, if you scroll the item and put it into the upper right hand corner, it'll half screen it. And if I can get something else to open, I can take that item and scroll it into the upper left hand corner, and it will half screen it as well. But that's just something that's nice to do. And those are the recordings that we have. So these are the items that we have. If I wanted to create a new folder within this, so think of this as like your H drive. Whenever you do documents, they're just gonna automatically save into this drive. You can create a new folder, call that in service or training folder. And when I create a Google Doc later, I can save that in the training folder. So I have a little better idea of right there. So everything isn't just saved into a huge list that you won't be able to find. This normally sorts by date last modified. So the thing that I last modified is my activities by class and date, my alumni database, entrepreneurs. All these documents are always sorted by the time that it was last modified. And these are options how you want it sorted. Last modified by me. Just hit the little button down in order to get that. So this is essentially your Google Drive. This, again, think of this as the same thing as your H drive that is available to you. The only other thing is if you want to create new Google Docs, sheets, or slides from your Google Drive, all you have to do is come up and create that. So let's create a new Google Doc. And think about Google Docs as essentially Microsoft Word, except it only has the 60% of stuff that people use the majority of the time. How I explain this to students is this has 60% of the stuff Microsoft Word has that people use 95% of the time. First thing we want to do is we want to come up here and we want to rename this. This is automatically saved, so it would just save as untitled document whether you wanted to save it or not. There's no save option similar to Word. It just automatically saves whenever you do it. If you click this little button here, this takes you to the Docs home. And I'll actually type something here. And this has access. This shows me everything that we have in Docs, saved in Docs whenever we do it. To create a new doc, if you were just here, you would just hit this little plus sign to create a doc. These are the items that I've made today, just kind of fooling around. And this is kind of an example of that untitled document that I didn't save and I have no idea what it is. That's why you always want to save or change that name first, just so you have an idea of what it is in case you want to trash it. So when we come in here, all I want to show you is this is pretty much the same thing as Microsoft Word. So if we wanted to come here and we wanted students to type in Times New Roman 12, this is what it would be. Bold underline. This is the same as pretty much the ribbon for Microsoft Word. This is your spell check. This is to center or write a line. Generally the same stuff as Word. If we come in here, if we want to insert images, we can either search the web or upload from the computer. Most of these, you can kind of mess around with these ribbons if you want to. This would be where line spacing is. So under format, line spacing. I'm going to finish this here and I'm going to start in the next one.